Who the math? Who the math? Who the math? Who the math?
Plus, sign, multiply, subtract, and divide. Get math in your mind, then you'll see your dollars rise. Teachers have your kids play video games, cause it helps to get the math facts into the brain. Simple and plain, we educate with minimal strain. Have fun, everybody now, isn't it great? Try some long division today, we just give it away. No time limits, you can...
All right, welcome back to the 60641. I am Mr. Lewis. Right next to me is the big man, Mr. Miller. All right, today we got modified box plots.
Yes, these are the best kind.
Of course they are. All right, so first, what does a modified box plot look like?
All right, you're going to see some stars here. These represent outliers. We have a pen?
We do have a pen.
We have a pen. So you notice it looks a lot like a box plot. We see the minimum and the median, etc. But there's these additional things. So in a modified box plot, we mark the outliers separately. And this whisker goes up to the largest value that's not an outlier. So this over here is really the max. The maximum was an outlier at this time. So this top graph had 3 outliers, and this is the largest value that's not an outlier. Outliers can be on the left too. They can either be low outliers or high outliers. So the second graph, this is a graph of the ages of people who won Oscars. Second graph is the male actors. There's only one unusual male guy, because most of us are normal. All right, so
I don't think women would actually concur with that.
Oh, well, we're making the video. So we have one outlier for the guys. This guy right here would be the next greatest one. This is the highest one that's not an outlier. So to make these graphs, we're going to have to learn how to compute what the outliers are. All right, here we go. So this starts off just like all the other, the regular box plots, but we see there's some additional things here. We're going to have to calculate the IQR, and these two very important things called the lower fence and the upper fence. What are the lower fence and upper fence for, Mr. Lewis?
Lower fence and upper fence show us where the outlier points would be. So the lower fence would be kind of the lowest point in which we would expect things. So anything past that we would expect an outlier. Same with the upper fence.
Okay, so when we want to know if something's an outlier, we're going to have to calculate this lower fence and upper fence thing. Okay, let's do it. So we know now you've learned how to find the min, Q1, median, Q3, and max for the regular box plot. So we're just going to kind of write in those values. Mr. Lewis, what do we get for the min?
The min we can see is 20.
Okay.
Probably don't even need to calculate that.
All right. Oh wait, I got this. The max is 120.
Hey, they don't call him they don't pay him the big bucks for something.
That's true.
All right. Median would be 40.
Okay.
And the Q1, 33.
Right.
Q3 was 56.
Okay, so that goes as usual. The interquartile range, we do Q3 minus Q1. So Q3 minus Q1. That's the width of the box. And
23.
very good. Looks like you did that in your head.
I did.
All right, so we're going to calculate the lower fence and the upper fence. I'm going to go over here. The lower fence, someone great decided this a while ago, is Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. So someone invented this rule, and if it's below this, it's unusually low.
It's be negative 1.5.
Do we have any data values less than negative 1.5?
We do not.
So there are no low outliers. So if it's less than the lower fence, it's an outlier. Okay, let's do the upper fence.
Also remember with the lower fence, don't get confused that it's negative, even though it doesn't really make sense for our data. Because, I mean, you can't haircuts can't be a negative cost. I wish they could.
True.
I should be being paid for my haircut.
That is so bad. They're going to pay you to do it. So, kind of hard to read. The upper fence is, let me describe it to you, is Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR.
Hang on. We are in process. 90.5.
So, anything above 90.5 is an outlier. Boy, this is really hard today.
Yeah.
90.5.
This is why I usually do the writing.
I guess so. Tomorrow you're doing the writing. 90.5.
Yeah,
Okay.
see?
So do we have any outliers?
Looks like we have 2.
Oh, wow, 2 outliers. So both of these are outliers. Okay, so here's how we draw it. We're going to draw in the minimum. I like throwing in Q1, so 33 is about right here. The median is 40. It's right here. I'm doing the box part first. And Q3 is 56, a little bit above 55. Those are the middle 3. And the width of this box is the IQR. The middle half of the data is in here. There are no outliers on the left, so this is going to go down to 20 like it usually does. So we're drawing a whisker down to 20. The right side, this is new. We're going to draw the whisker up to the highest value that's not an outlier. So that would be 64. And then we're going to mark the outliers. So we use an asterisk. There's an outlier at 95. And there's an outlier at 120, way up here. Wow, someone got a really expensive haircut there.
No kidding.
Okay, so without the outliers, we see most of the graph is down here. A typical value is the median, 40. These are way above the typical value. All right, so that's a modified box plot.
Okay, let's try one more. All right, now we're going to salaries in millions of dollars for the Chicago Bulls players, shown below.
So 0.3 is?
300,000.
Yeah, so even the minimum is not that small.
Nope.
All right, Mr. Lewis is going to get the statistics going, but I'll fill in the easy ones.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
0.3, 18.8 million. That would be Mr. Derrick Rose. Put a little money sign by him. Okay.
Okay, our median was 2.1 million.
Okay.
Q1 was 1.35. And our Q3 was 6.2.
All right. So IQR is Q3 minus Q1.
Should be 4.85.
And lower fence, I'll try hard to write the formula again. It is Q1 minus 1.5 times the IQR. Man, wow.
It's okay.
All right.
It's okay.
Okay, what'd you get for that?
Negative 5.925. So maybe just negative
Any value-
9.3.
Any values lower than that?
I don't think so. I don't think anyone's getting paid negative amount of money.
Okay, how about the upper fence?
Yeah, the upper fence.
So similar formula is Q3 plus 1.5 times the IQR.
And that would be 13.5.
Any outliers?
Looks like 1.
Anybody above the upper fence? So you gotta be outside the fences, lower than the lower fence or greater than the upper fence. So Mr. Derrick Rose, congratulations, you're an outlier.
In more ways than 1.
Let's start drawing the graph. All right, so 1.35, we're gonna have to estimate. So I'm starting with Q1. That's a little bit below 1.5. So the median's 2.1. That's about right here, just a little bit above 2. So we're kind of estimating. Q3 is 6.2, about right there. And draw in the box. Again, that contains the middle half of the data. And the width of this box is the IQR. All right, the minimum is 0.3. So it's less than 0.5, about right there.
Yep, and no outliers to the left.
And we're going up to 12.2. That's the biggest outlier, or the biggest value that's not an outlier. So 12.2 is way over here. I'm going to go all the way up there. Then, draw in Mr. Derrick Rose. It's like a three-point shot over here. Boom. There's Derrick Rose, the outlier.
All right.
Now, the one before, maybe a little bit hard to tell, but this one's clear. This graph is clearly what, Mr. Lewis?
It is skewed to the left.
Really?
No, wait a minute. It's skewed to the right.
He's going to raise
See,
his right hand.
I
your
have a
other
really problem with right and left. I've always had that.
That's right. It's stretched out to the right, so it's
Man.
skewed to the right. And we could
I'm
say,
just keeping them on their toes. That's all.
to quote the center, describe the center, the median was 2.1 million. And then the spread, the IQR is the width of this box. So from here to here, that's the IQR. the width of that box. And that's a measure of spread. Sometimes we use the range, which is the total length, but outliers kind of mess that up. So IQR is what we use, and we would say there's one unusual feature. Derek rose at 18.8 million.
All right.
All right, there's a lot of steps. We're going to practice a lot in class. We want you to try one on your own. These are highs of some high school players. So first, find the 5-number summary. Find the IQR, lower fence and upper fence, and see if there are any outliers.
All right. So checking that tomorrow.